This is the 40U Tech Startups podcast. The podcast in which you hear all about the startups and spin-offs from the 4 technical universities in the Netherlands. From the challenges they face to the ecosystems they accelerate in, here we talk about what it takes to flourish and make impact on an international playing field. Brought to you by the 40U. Welcome to another episode of the Dutch 40U Tech Startups podcast, and welcome to the 3rd season of this podcast series. I'm your host, Vera Boertien, and today I am joined by 2 people who I was supposed to talk to at Hello Tomorrow. So we'll just, we'll pick up where we left off, essentially. So I'm here with Tim and Rabih. Tim, can you introduce yourself?
Of course. My name is Tiek. I am here from Brilliance RGB. We make laser chips. My background is in electronics, and I've been in Twente for many different roles, always in the tech industry. Yeah. Nice,
thank you. And Rabih, how about you?
Hi, I'm Rabih Hamid. Originally, I'm from Lebanon. 4 years in the Netherlands. I'm a CTO of maxairea. And what we do, we build CO2 filters that can fit any HVAC system, heating, ventilation, air conditioning systems.
Nice. And you're from Eindhoven University, right?
No, from Wageningen.
Oh, Wageningen. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah. No problem.
Honest mistake there. So like I said, I was supposed to meet you at Hello Tomorrow. Currently, we're recording this at Enschede Slush'D, which is also very exciting. But we're going to look back at Hello Tomorrow. First off, why did you join that mission?
So for me, at Brilliance, we make laser chips, which is based on semiconductor technology. And we use this to project for future AR glasses, automotive heads-up displays. So it's semiconductor. It means that if you want to scale, it's capital intense. You need to raise all the time. We were there for our Series A. So basically to do our next round of funding, now that we have proven the concept of our technology, it's working very well. It's well received in the industry. And our next phase is to basically start the industrialization phase, scale to volume, perfect the product for specific customers. So, yeah, it's fundraising for that.
Right. Okay. And before we dive into whether or not you made that happen, Rabih, why did you join the mission?
Actually, it was multiple purposes, right? First, to learn more about the investment industry, how it works, because it's an industry by itself.
Yeah.
So this my colleague William was focusing on that. For me, I was focusing on meeting a potential project manager for our AI configurator, which is now we have the coalition in place, and Paris was the starting moment to build that coalition.
Nice. Cool. And so you went to Paris. How was that? Was the mission what you expected of it?
Well, for me and for Brilliance, it has been very good. Especially the matchmaking in Paris with, I don't know, I think there were 200 or 300 tables. So many investors there. Good facilities in terms of the app to do the matchmaking and speed dating. Mm-hmm. I think we talked to about maybe 12 investors or so. Most of them very relevant. A lot of follow-up came from that. For us it has been very good. We have multiple options to the funding. We made a lot of progress. Actually, we got some non-dilutive funding in between as well, which helped us quite a lot. Also coming forth out of this session. So, for us it was very good.
Yeah, because you mentioned you spoke to 12 investors, and some startups may go home and are like, okay, it was super successful because we talked to 12 investors. Mm-hmm. But then, of course, it's how you follow up on that and what comes after it. So what was that like for you?
So some of them we knew already. So these events are also good to just stay in touch, because if you're a startup, especially like I said, if you're about hardware scaling to real high volume like we do, you are continuously on the lookout for funding.
Yeah.
even if you're still well funded, you have to keep maintaining this, right? So even if you're especially, it's actually good to be on speaking terms with all the investors all the time, because you don't want to be with your back against the wall with your startup when you really have to raise.
Yeah.
Because it is a long process, it will take time. So it's about maintaining relationships, catching up with everybody. In the case of Paris, if I recall correctly, I think there were 5 or 6 that we didn't know yet. So basically most of them European VCs, with also the majority good follow-ups. So it gives us options as a startup. So we had we were lucky enough to have multiple people interested to proceed. And it's Paris is one of them. So there are many more opportunities, of course, where you keep in touch, you stay in touch with these guys.
Yeah.
Building some credibility, also showing progress. Basically, be concise every time you meet the investors that you already know. Be concise about your progress. What is going well? What is where do you need? What are your challenges? What does the market? How does the market evolve? All these things, right?
Yeah.
So for us, it's just staying in touch. That's basically what it's about, and it has helped us a lot by with our next round. Yeah.
Yeah. And Rabih, I see you nodding as well.
Yeah, because all what Tim is saying is really relevant, and I can second all of that. And basically, when you meet those people in these missions, everyone is going there to stay in touch, to show his consistency, right? And to be able to raise, you need to build this direct relationship with those people. It doesn't work like, okay, if we see with the thesis, yes, this is what you read on their website. But it is boiled down to have direct communication and conversation, and then they want to know you, right? And every time you meet them again in a big mission or a small mission or an event, and you're still updating those same people, and they see that you are consistent about what you are doing, and then your probability of being part of their portfolio is higher. But anyhow, being there, learning from people. Now, this discussion, what we are doing now, I'm learning how, I like how much Tim is focused. I believe the microchips industry is really focused and demarcated on how you can move forward. The path is clear. In our case, we are more part of the construction built industry. There's many stakeholders, and the decision-making process in delivering a building or a new development is a little bit scattered.
Yeah.
But being there in those missions, you're going to learn from your peers, and maybe sometimes you will have kind of a lesson that you can apply in different ways. So it's always relevant to be there, but also you need to be, to manage your time wisely. You cannot be on every mission, but you need to be on these missions.
Yeah.
So this is where you need to find the balance, I believe.
It's very efficient. So if you have one investor day like that with all the matchmaking, you speak to so many people in just one day, right? And it's sometimes 5-minute touch point can be enough, and to what you say, and to keep the credibility and the consistency. It's not different from doing business to business with large companies. It's all the same, right? People want to work with other people that they know they can trust, that they do what they say, and it's not different in the interaction between investors and, for example, startups or scale-ups. Exactly. So it's
very
just
true.
Human to human. It's like anything in the world, right?
Yeah. So when you say it's just business, that's not that it's superficial, or you really have to get to know each other. It's not like, here's my pitch deck and now give me money.
Nobody. Well, I'm also a little bit on the other side. I've also invested myself. I've done M&A. I've worked for larger companies buying other companies. It's never about, as much as engineers tend to believe that it's only about technology and the facts, and that you,
if only.
If I'm meeting the spec sheets for this customer, I'm done. It never works like that, right?
Yeah.
It's about, you have to have that in place, and you have to. Of course, you need to offer something unique, and everything like that is true. But in the end, it's always from people working with people. It always comes down to, and if you don't have a good match, I mean, even if you would have an investor, for example, that would tick all the boxes, but you, as a founder, maybe you don't have a good feeling with this investor. I don't know, maybe they have a very different idea on the exit strategy or the go-to-market strategy. Then just don't do it. Spend time. And the other way around. If the investor doesn't feel good about the people, if you start working with an investor and they start working with you, it's going to be a long-lasting relationship, right?
Yeah.
So you maybe, even though people have a plan for 3 years, it will probably end up being longer. And you have to make a lot of decisions together. So it's really about, can I get along with these people and be one team?
Yeah, really about trust.
Of course,
yeah.
Always.
And now, Rabih, I want to circle back to what we talked about before we started recording, because you mentioned that a lot has happened since Hello Tomorrow for your company. Can you explain?
True. But basically, Hello Tomorrow was our second mission. First mission was in Slush, and Slush was like really busy 2 days, right? It's crazy there.
Yeah.
But we managed to have a connection with Atamute. Atamute is a startup from Eindhoven, and we are starting with them a new product for maxairea, which is dual functionality, absorbing CO2 and low frequency sound, which is relevant for air handling units. Point. So we learned, like, when you go to a mission, if you can get out of this mission with one strong lead that you can build on and to turn into a project, then this is successful time that you have been investing. And this is what we did at Hello Tomorrow. Of course, we did like a lot of talks with almost everyone we can talk to, but we were lucky enough to find our potential VC investor. And then here you can start to build the journey with them, because they have the thesis, and then you connect with the right people, with like junior investor, and then they have a journey there, right? So we had the catch with that, but at the same time you learn about all the possible tools of available investment tools, and then you learn these difficult terminologies. Bridging round, right? So this is just before your seed round. You can also do that. And then they tell you, hey, we have this kind of funds and so on, and they show you the roadmap, how to get there, because you have been validating your technical part. And then you get into to have this human communication with those people from the industry. But at the same time, also, we started our journey of building the coalition of the AI configurator. Because again, when you have a brilliant technology, but you need to add it somewhere, right? You need to have this hardware communicating with existing systems in life, like state-of-the-art system. This has been already there. So that mission was good for us on multiple layers. And this is how we keep the focus on, by trying to make a project out of it, at least one strong lead where you can be consistent on it and so on.
Right. And that's where you are at now. That's what you're working on now.
We have validated already our technology. We have more than 6,000 hours of validation. We have our first paying customer for our CO2 filter, but we had to develop our own IoT management system, which is basically building our own software that can communicate with different building management systems. And then we discovered the gap, because I did my studies at Wageningen University in biosystems engineering, focusing on greenhouses, and my background is 15 years in the construction industry back in Lebanon, Beirut. So I thought, like, okay, why we treat commercial buildings, which means any building that's serving humans, we treat them as static. However, the number of people in those buildings is varying, and the outdoor weather is changing constantly. So we have different temperatures since the morning until now.
Yeah, exactly.
And okay, you have an insulation panel, you have a window, and you have a mechanical fans pushing air. So why not to mimic what's happening in greenhouses? Because greenhouses, like smart farmers in the Netherlands, they are doing a brilliant job there with a thin layer of glass. So we're trying to bridge what's happening in the greenhouses into the construction industry via our CO2 filter. So then you are providing a service which is hardware, but also software that can communicate with different building management systems, and treating people as the most valuable product, because in greenhouses, tomatoes is very important and on the balance sheet. But human well-being and indoor air quality, it's important, but it's not on the balance sheet. So how we can make out of that for the owner of the building or the end
how
user.
Can you measure the impact?
True, and this is via saving energy, and then they can see it in their pocket, and then start to make sense for them.
It always surprises me that we have HVAC systems in buildings for so long, and that still many buildings mess it up. So I think you can make an impact because there's still a lot of room for improvement. And it sounds like you're doing more than the filters; you're doing the whole thermal management around it. So
actually, what we are trying to do there is to make this AI configurator, which is a decision making. If you don't have the right knowledge for your janitor or your maintenance company, but then if you can have this layer of decision making based on communicating with forecasts of the weather and your existing system, and just transfer the knowledge of the brilliant engineers that you have already there, and allowing the system to make decisions along the way, then you will be just leveraging what is there and just communicating. And I believe now with the computational power that we have and with all the AI tools, this is valid and possible with relatively low cost.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then when we circle back to the missions and days like today, like Enschede Slush'D, what are you looking for today? Where are you now in your journey? Are you still looking for more partners, or are you also in talks with investors? Because there are also many investors here, of course.
Very true. In the morning, there was like the unconference from TNO.
Yes.
So, CTOs are always too much focused on harvesting data, validating, making the right report, debugging wherever it's not working well there, following up on projects and so on. So you are too much invested on your own pool. When you just go to such an event and step back and sit there and listen to experienced people, like now I'm listening to them like, okay, he's saying what I like to hear, right? In the morning, there was like bunch of CTOs from different industries. And when you can have this step back, listen to people, listen to different stories, and this is inspiring for me, then you can just reflect on it, check what's valid for you, and at the same time, still meeting investors and connecting with them.
Yeah, so inspiration, meeting investors.
True.
And Tim, what's it like for you? What is your goal today?
Well, I think along the same lines. For me, it's catching up with a lot of people that I know. I'm really also happy and proud to see Slush'D attracting 700 people in my hometown, which is Enschede. So I like that. I think this morning we had a nice discussion with Bram Nauta and an audience for the breakfast session. Yeah,
it was from IMEC Expand, right?
Yes. Yeah. About basically, there was more focused on the semiconductor industry, but how the high-tech industry here in Enschede is really starting to flourish and all going in the right direction. Still a lot of work to be done, but really, really good trends. So that's nice. For me, it's not only about finding investors, which is all part of it, catching up with the investors for now, but also for future rounds. But also, like you said, being challenged, meet people from very different industries, different market segments, if you will. You can always learn from them. There are also investors which may not be a good match in this phase because they're doing larger or smaller tickets, or they're from a slightly different industry or whatever. But they will always ask challenging questions, which will keep you sharp. So that's good for everybody. Continuously challenge, as a startup, you need to be adaptive, right? So you had a certain plan in mind, you're chasing that, you're going full speed, but every now and then you have to zoom out. Reconsider some things. Days like these are really good for that.
Get fresh perspectives on what you're doing.
So people will just ask you, okay, but this is your story, but why are you chasing that? Why are you not going for this market?
Right.
Or why aren't you talking to those guys? And that's really good.
And then when we look back at Hello Tomorrow, to summarize, was it a successful mission for you?
Yeah, so for me, definitely. I really liked the investor matchmaking day, most of it. So out of I think there were 3 days, or 2.5 days. I also liked that there was a big Dutch delegation. So as always, when
it was massive.
when you're traveling like that, you also meet a lot of people from your own delegation, which sometimes even just as valuable as the event itself. What I really like is that the next one will be held in the Netherlands.
Yeah, in Amsterdam.
Yeah, so we'll definitely be present there as well. So yeah, it was definitely worth it for me.
Yeah, and Rabih?
Same here. Now we were actually, when we got there, we were structuring up our seed round, our first reaching out to equity and investment, and then we learn what is possible also in the market, and this is what we are building now. So we were following on the insights that we have learned there. We have our possible VC already, kind of a letter of intent from them, and then based on that you can shape your roadmap how to get there. And I believe it was a crucial milestone in structuring the roadmap to the seed round. And this is what we are busy with now, with the same people who we met in Hello Tomorrow, actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds amazing, of course. And it's good to see how far you've come in actually just a few months. So...
Dutch effectiveness now.
Yeah. Dutch directness. Let's go. About the follow-up. So... you talk to everyone there and it's like a lot of impressions. It's so busy. You hear so many people. You talk to so many people. What would be your number one tip or advice for startups going on missions to do after a mission? Because we talk a lot about how to prepare for a mission, what to do on the mission. But what about life after the mission?
Yeah, from my end, it would be quite... dull, maybe, the answer. So it is just about making the lists. You can do any format. I just have a simple Excel sheet where I say, okay, these are the people we talk to. This is, for example, the profile, what this investor is looking for, what is their sweet spot, how much of a match is it? Is it like a little bit of a match, or is it a sweet spot, or... Is it irrelevant because we are already too far or too early? And then, you talk to these people, you get their contacts, you do the right timing on sending the pitch deck or the answering the questions that they have. And
is that like a day after or a week after? What is the right timing?
Case by case, but I would say normally 1.5 to 2 weeks is a good timing, because everybody returning from these sessions has a lot of homework.
Yeah.
So it's I mean, in the end, it's quite a lot of work. You just need to be very deliberate about keeping a long list, keeping a short list, staying in touch. If it's a really good match, go visit them or ask them to visit you. So it's no rocket science. It's about consistency.
Yeah. Is that also how you do it, Rabih?
I fully agree on that. Simple Excel sheet, and then you do your matrix based on that.
Yeah.
And you have your short list, and you have your focus, and then you try to shape your actual steps based on what they would like to see.
Yeah.
And then you have a smaller range, and then the plus or minus the 10% where you are targeting.
And what is also important, don't waste each other's time. So if you have to be short and concise about what you do and why it is attractive to invest in you.
Yeah.
If people are not convinced for whatever reason, or there's no fit or whatever, don't spend time anymore.
Just tell them.
From both ends. And
Yeah.
I really like the invest. So there are some investors spending a lot of time asking a lot of questions, and then after many weeks of time spent on both ends, they conclude, well, it's not. If, for example, we don't want to go for the consumer market, so it's not a fit. You could have known that also up front, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So the more professional investors, they would say, okay, it's all hot. We like each other. Let's see if we can make a concept term sheet on with all the raw numbers. If that works out, we have a concept. We take a deeper dive. We do the due diligence, which is going to be time consuming for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
That's also, make sure that you spend your time wisely. It doesn't make sense to take deep dives with 20 investors. You would just not have the time. It will paralyze your company.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I believe it's a great luxury if you have 20 investors who wants to do due diligence with you, right?
It's an example of...
Yeah.
But even if you... what is also important is to... What typically technical startups, they are focused way more on the technology and why that's just so cool and nice.
Mm-hmm.
Typically investors, of course, they want to have proof that you have unique technology, but it's much more about which problems are you going to solve for which customers and why is that? And what are your proof points?
Yeah.
So at Brilliance, for example, we recently have a lot of headwinds because we have Meta, for example, and also Google explaining now that they need laser projection in their future generation AR projects. So it really helps us because we knew this, but it's now public information as well.
Yeah.
So what we can do is we can, with our counterparts at Meta, for example, we can set up reference calls with investors. That is what they really like. They want to hear from the industry, from the large guys. Hey, this is what we need. This is why it's solving a problem for us.
Yeah.
Focus on that.
Yeah. And that's also what you do, right?
Very true, actually. And what can show consistency that we have letter of intents from installation companies, real estate developers, and we are now in business with those people who delivered the letter of intents, which give like more value.
Yeah.
And then when you have actual real projects running and you have your first invoice, and then they when they see the industry jumping in and adopting your technology, then they will start to be really interested, especially that we are creating a market. The market for our filter is not there. It's a little bit complex to add something to the built environment. They really need to see consistency in the performance of your product. Mm-hmm. And if industry is adopting and paying for that, then you are in a good position for negotiation, actually.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing your insights. I think it's full of bits of wisdom. So with that, we conclude this episode of the Dutch 4TU Tech Startups podcast. Thank you so much for joining. And if you're listening, stay tuned because we'll have more episodes recorded today. So those will drop in the following weeks. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for...
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Rate it, like it, share it, whatever. Just spread the word. And follow us on social media at 4TU Startups on Instagram and at 4TU.startups on LinkedIn. See you in the next episode.